All right, TGI Friday, June 17th, 2022. Um, let's talk about Officer Bruce Diker's day in court yesterday uh, and start with Wednesday's vote for the dues increase and the reoccurring theme of the need for this politically speaking and why. Just wrap your head around this. In court yesterday, the lawyers agreed there was no challenge of these facts. Bruce was an on duty uniformed officer. Bruce confronted a trespasser, which was the offender in this case. Bruce repeatedly gave warnings to that person to leave that they are trespassing. Bruce repeatedly warned the person that if she did not comply, she would be arrested. Those facts are not in dispute. And they weren't disputed because those were presented by the state's attorney's office as the foundation for this whole felony charge to begin with. They are literally telling you you can now be charged with a felony for doing your work and arresting a trespasser. There is no other way to dissect it. You know, the conversations about he had a duty to arrest her at that point. Otherwise, it was a battery. So this department continually teaches de-escalation. De-escalation. At some point, Bruce decides this just ain't worth the headache. She promised to comply and leave. He lets her go. Everybody goes on their merry way. But the state's attorney's office pulled a fast one. And I'm going to show you how deep this corruption goes within the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. In that investigation, or even in the review in the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, it was unanimous. There was nothing here. There was no need to ruin Bruce's life. But when the person in charge went on vacation, he was replaced with an investigator from Koba that was hired by the state's attorney's office, who then produced the investigatory reviews and ended up being the subject of the indictment at the grand jury. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. They literally went and got a lackey to carry their water to do what they wanted to do, to hang an officer out to dry. That is why elections matter. That falls squarely on Kim Foxx's desk for her disgusting behavior under her number 2, Riesel Lanier. It is inexcusable, and I hope Bruce sues the shit out of the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, the mayor's office, who publicly said she was troubled by what she saw in the video. Again, all the disparaging comments about Bruce's character unnecessarily not only dragged his name through the mud, but his family through the mud, when all he wanted to do was move on with his life. And here we are dealing with this nonsense. We are going to stick by this guy through thick and thin, no matter what. And we're going to certainly make sure he gets acquitted of these charges. It is absolutely insane what is happening over at 26th and Cal. The hope now is that calmer heads and common sense prevail, and the right thing is done, and he is acquitted. Stay tuned for that. This morning, we went and talked to 99 new recruits. 99, you heard me right. They almost broke triple digits for the first time in God knows how long. It was quite a sight to see that many in attendance. I understand there's another class of 90 in the wings coming up, but I assure you that will be the last 2 big classes for quite some time. Because when Yolanda Talley was promoted to Chief of Internal Affairs and her duties as recruiter was taken away, it was turned over to Commander Bolness. And she worked extensively to put a program in effect to not only get military people, but others involved. And that is the product of her hard work, those 99 people that were sitting in those chairs today and the class coming up. What'd she get for that hard work? Well, she got a promotion to deputy chief, and then Talley gets lateraled back to her spot as the chief recruiter so she can go on her vacations with her crew to Puerto Rico and spend department and city money on vacations instead of recruitment. I'd love to know how many people they got from their Puerto Rico trip to come and be Chicago police officers. The level of corruption and ineffectiveness at that headquarters is insane. But you can guarantee right back to the same old, 40 or 50 people, the concentration level of what they were doing when she was in charge produced almost no result. You finally get some movement, and what do? You change gears. It is absolutely insane. So stay tuned on that front. the insanity continues. But I will tell you also, we had a call with the arbitrator on the COVID discipline. I've said this before, it's never really panned out according to his words, but he has said he is going to try and get this wrapped up in the next week. And wrapped up means we already know 17 people had been referred to the law department for termination where they are still sitting. There are other officers who have still not gotten a determination who are beyond the arbitration awards to this point of no paid status. I pleaded with the arbitrator to just please conclude this once and for all, give everybody left a determination so we can put that behind us and focus on the 17 behind. That is the goal, that is the hope. He sounded like that is what his plan was going to be. I guess we'll see where it's at. I just didn't want anybody to think that we forgot about it. It's been like pulling teeth. Lastly, I want to say Happy Father's Day. And we will be out with the trailer this weekend. Friday, we will be in the 11th District from about noon to 2:30, and then we're going to go over to headquarters for the night deployment at 1800 hours for a couple hours. If you're in the area or if you're working there, come on, stop by, have a little fraternalism before they put you out to work in this ridiculous thing they call a civilized society. Update on yesterday's officers. They both were fortunate. There was 2 actually officers injured in that scene, but they both been released, and it could have been worse. Watch your back. With that being said, have a safe weekend and see you out there.